We're live.
Hey everyone, welcome to another night with Chris and Gini on Wednesday night OWCP chats. You can also find us on YouTube and you can find us on Facebook. And you're able to comment and ask your questions on YouTube as well. So go ahead, tell your friends to hop on. We already have somebody on, awesome.
Welcome.
And we're gonna do some housekeeping.
Shoot. Are we?
You need a broom and a dustpan?
I think so.
He needs a broom
Nah,
and a
I don't
dustpan.
need anything.
All right. If you can see up behind us, these are canvas prints of our books. They're like, I think they're 11 by 16 or something like that, but I wanted to do something like that for Chris for his office.
It is pretty cool.
Our office. We like to do different backgrounds and stuff like that. I'm going to get a little thing that has our website, our Facebook page, and our phone number. So when we go like that, we're able just to point at it. So
I think I might even, and none of you, those of you know me know I'm not famous, but I may get a black Sharpie and just autograph the wall. You wouldn't believe, you would, because some of you are those people. How many people have asked me in the comments of when they go to my website to get the book, for me to sign the books. So it's humbling, but I sign them all. I might just sign my wall.
Yeah. Hello, everybody on YouTube. We're having some people on YouTube.
Yeah, great.
Hello. Okay. So the 3 things we're going to go over tonight. What to do when your claim gets denied.
Well,
Now,
why it gets denied.
Why it gets denied, how to fix a denial, and also how to find an OWCP doctor, whether it's us or some other doctor in your location, because it doesn't matter where you go. We want to make sure that the doctor knows what he's doing to help you.
Yeah.
This week, with the questions that we've had, were unreal. So many of you don't know how to find a doctor. So many of you are going to doctors that don't take OWCP, and you're telling me that the claim's getting denied. So we're going to let you know how to get all that fixed. In the meantime, don't forget to click that subscribe button on YouTube. Everybody on YouTube. And then don't forget to click the follow button and then click share. All right, while I'm sharing, he's going to talk about all the things coming up and do some housekeeping.
Yeah, so just remember, while she's sharing, if you ask questions, she's going to come back and not see your questions. So I recommend that you hold your questions for right now. Should you decide that you can't hold them in, you're going to have to retype your questions. As long as she's sharing, she's going to come back, and everything that was said between now and then, she's not going to see.
Yeah, I don't know, it goes up.
Yeah, look, we don't control the Facebook thing, and the YouTube doesn't do that, but the Facebook. And so if that happens and you get the feeling that we skipped over your question, it's not intentional. Just please repost the question and we'll get to it. We want to be able to get to everybody. Now, I saw that somebody said no audio. We definitely have audio. Those of you that can hear us, hit a bunch of like buttons so everyone else that says no audio knows that it might be their device. So
but you need to do it on the Facebook. Sometimes you just need to tap it because you're not paying attention to the volume. It always happens to me.
Yeah, so it's probably your device. Don't feel bad. I stay in front of devices all day long and I make mistakes. But
so
yeah,
you guys could hear us?
Yeah, everyone else is hearing us.
Awesome.
Yeah, so if you have comments, you have questions, just hang on to them for a second. We're going to say when, and we're going to say, go. And then you can start machine gunning your questions. And we're going to answer all of them. Whether it's live or through the comments afterwards, we will get to all the questions like we always do. As you see, all 3 books now are in giant form. These are too big to put in your pocket. However,
they're half of my size.
I tried. They won't fit. They won't fit in my pocket. But if you download the books to your phone, you'll have Breaking OWCP in your pocket. And that's been my goal, is for you to have the information at the moment your supervisor makes you need it.
Yeah.
And your supervisors tell you all kinds of things that aren't correct, and most of the time it's probably because they don't know better, but many times it's because they're malicious and don't you want to know. I was helping somebody yesterday with the problem she was having, and I had to go back to her contract from her union to find the answers because she wasn't getting the help she needed. And I would have loved to have had that contract in my book, or in my pocket. So when you need something like this and you can reference it really fast, it's good to have it in your pocket. So go to breakingowcp.com. Those of you that have been to it over the last few days, you know that I've had some problems with the website, and those are all cleared up now. We ran some tests on it. No more problems with the website. So go to breakingowcp.com and get your book 3, which you'll see in the middle, but I recommend that you have all 3 volumes on PDF saved to your phone. They don't take up a lot of space, and they're not expensive on purpose. They're only, I just charge enough so I have enough to reprint and to have my website guy fix things when they break. Otherwise, I have to shut the whole thing down. So shipping is free if you buy the hard copy. There are several hard copies here. There are a few left on this one. I don't have any hard copies on book 1, although I've had some requests. I may go back to the hard copies, but I'm really trying to get you all to actually save money and put it in your pocket. I want them saved on your phones. Believe me, ask around when you are in that situation and you need the information now. There is no better place to go to get them than my books. I mean that sincerely. I've organized these books in a way that anybody can go to the table of contents and find what you're looking for right now. Somebody asked me last week if I would combine all 3 into one PDF. I probably will at some point. And so I'll let you know when that happens. That was actually a really good idea. So that will probably be something that will come up soon. It's just going to take a little work on my part to make it happen. So go to breakingowcp.com. Those of you that are new here, before you run off thinking, oh gosh, this is just a place where this guy's trying to sell some stuff. Not at all. Gini and I have been doing this live Facebook training for over 6 years now, nearly 7. And the reason I wrote the books is because I've been so involved with what you do that I realized you needed the references. And so I've taken the time to write the books, and I put them out there at a price that is nearly free, after all the costs, including shipping, because shipping is free. Already tried that.
Okay.
So, don't think that you're here for, a sales show, because it's not a sales show. We're going to genuinely teach you some stuff. But these books are useful to you, and they don't exist anywhere else, and I assure you the help that you will get from this page and those books will be unmatched. Nobody that says they teach OWCP does it like we do. So, check it out, breakingowcp.com. Tomorrow we're going to be in Orlando until Saturday. We've got another doctors convention coming up where we're there to recruit doctors in areas where we don't have them. And so in Orlando, we'll have doctors from multiple states coming in, and we'll meet them, talk to them, and find out which ones are suitable for you, and then do our very, very best to get them to join the franchise.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Yeah, sorry. So for also those of you that are new, we have a franchise called Federal Injury Centers. Again, you are not here for me to tell you to go to our doctors. Most people here will tell you that I will encourage you to go to whichever doctor you want, including any that aren't mine. Even if they're like direct competition, we'll say go for it. Eventually you all come back anyways, so it's not that big of a problem because we're really good at what we do. But you're not here to get sold on doctors. I'll talk about them. Some of them will jump on because they like to meet you and hear what you're saying. So when our doctors come on, I'll definitely introduce them. That's the least I can do for them and for you. And that's nearly it. So, and next week we'll be in Jacksonville. We have a class in Jacksonville with the APWU. I think I'm teaching for 3 hours next Friday.
Yep.
And who's invited to that? All the APWU in Florida.
APWU, yeah.
So if you're a clerk for the post office in Florida, that's what's up. So we're going to be in Jacksonville next week. And what time do I start teaching? She knows everything. I know nothing.
After lunch. Yeah. Probably
about 1 o'clock, maybe 2. So I've got a 3-hour class. If you're from Utah, you saw the class already. You know that it was beneficial. I like to say it was even somewhat entertaining. I intend to be equally entertaining on Friday next week in Jacksonville, Florida. And then I'm sure we have other things coming up, but these are big things. We're going to teach the Florida clerks what's going on with OWCP, and I'm going to talk to doctors and do the same and try to convince them to come on. So everybody keep your fingers crossed, have good thoughts, and hopefully we can do some good and get some more doctors near you in the areas where you're at. All right, so while she's finishing up the sharing, you should also be hitting the share button. The reason that is this is a community of us. When we first started, it was just me teaching. But now it's
to like 7 people.
Yeah, and now it's all of us, and there's nearly 12,700 followers, and which is a small fraction of the total. So that's when we need you to share. But those that follow this and stay up with it have a lot easier time. God forbid they should get hurt at work. And we're able to solve a lot of problems that were happening before you found us. So if you have a denied claim, we can generally fix it. If your claim is closed, that's not a big deal. We can get it reopened. If you're just struggling with getting paid, we can help you with that. If you want to know something about schedule awards and how you can qualify for that, these are things we can help you with. So we can help you with all the major topics and the minor things. And so we encourage you to, while you're watching, ask your questions by typing them in the comments. Be patient with me because we get to them as fast as we can. We try to go in order.
I see a lot of questions coming in. Can you guys just hold them?
You're going to have to repost your questions, and that's okay.
And if we go past 9 o'clock, then we go past 9 o'clock. So make sure we answer.
For the last 2 weeks, we've
questions.
we've done 2 hours and an hour and a half the last 2 weeks. So we're not locked into the 1 hour time frame, but we will get it all taken care of and help you the best we can, which is better than anybody else.
As we grow with more Facebook pages, and as we grow with more people coming on YouTube. Oh, we even have YouTube questions here.
Excellent.
We're gonna. It might go longer, and we may go back to starting earlier, just so we could do the full thing. Okay, Ian White, you're on YouTube. Welcome. Everybody on Facebook, welcome. Hold your questions. So again, tonight what we're going to be going over is...
why claims get denied.
No, I'm just like, okay.
Why claims get denied, how to fix them.
Why claims get denied and how to fix them and how to find an OWCP doctor, whether it's us or another doctor. So, with that said, let's jump in and start getting the information. So hold your questions because sometimes while he's teaching, he may answer your question.
Yeah, probably so. All right, so I'm going to go into why claims get denied in the first place. I hear people all the time saying, my supervisor's trying to get my claim denied. My claims examiner denied my claim, and nobody will help me. Nobody at work knows what's going on, and other things that probably I won't say because I have friends in those groups. But you don't have enough help, and so you're like just blaming whoever, which I don't blame you for doing that. But the truth is, claims get denied because you don't turn in the documentation you need, and your doctor doesn't turn in the documentation you need. All legitimate claims that are timely filed should be approved. And so if you filed your claim within the 3-year window, 3 years, you heard me right. Not 3 days, not 2 weeks, not 30 days, not anything less than 3 years. You have 3 years to report your injuries and still be able to get help, okay? There are other time frames where if we have some time, I'll go into those, but the time frame I want you to think about right now is 3 years. So if you're somebody that's, limping around work, or you're struggling lifting your arm up to do the job, or whatever the issue is, you have patients and you can't lift them anymore, and you think, well, there's just my time ran out. There's nothing left I can do. Probably the time didn't run out because you have 3 years from the date you got hurt to report your injury. So, don't think that it's too late. It's not over. So when we get a timely filed claim that is legitimate, meaning it actually happened at work, every one of those should get approved, and that's our experience at federal injury centers. We strive for 100%. Other doctors are like happy with whatever comes. They're just glad that they got a little bit because they're only thinking about their own money. Well, we're thinking about you, and if we get a claim denied, that means you're losing benefits, you're losing time, you're losing money, you're losing your livelihood, and so we think of you first. So a timely filed legitimate claim should be approved 100%. So when they don't get approved, why? All right, well, you didn't send a statement in, or maybe you didn't file your claim on time, or maybe you didn't report your injury to your supervisor, or maybe you did your part on ECOMP, but your supervisor ignored it and didn't do their part, and you didn't think to ask. Those are some things that can happen. Another thing that can happen is your doctor writes a terrible narrative report. I tell our doctors, and we have over 50 of them in like 23 states, that denied claims are their fault. If a patient comes to you and you write a report and the claim gets denied, you got the claim denied. It's nobody's fault. It's your fault, nobody else. And so we write fantastic reports to make sure claims don't get denied. And then when they do, we just keep fighting. We keep, plugging away at it. We never ever stop. And no is a good first start sometimes. And sometimes the claims examiners say no. So you got to make sure that you're going to the right doctor. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And that your right doctor has the right information and they put it in the right order and sort of check all the boxes.
Yeah.
So that, it's complete. And then they send that narrative on time to the claims examiner. I read denial letters all the time. And I read a couple of denial letters last week where it was denied because the claims examiner had no medical information to consider. So the CA1, said that the person was injured, how they were injured, where they were injured, when it was injured, and even the supervisor didn't argue with it on the second page. But there was no medical to back it up, no medical documentation. And so you've got to make sure that your doctor gets their documentation in on time. All right, you need your doctor getting their narrative reports in within 10 days of you seeing the doctor. Now, we think our doctors should get their stuff in within 2 days.
Yeah.
Let's be faster than that. But 10 days and you get your COP cut off, potentially. You can lose your COP. And so that's a window that you want to be mindful of. If your doctor does not send the narrative report in time, you're going to get a denial saying, there was no medical information to consider. The second thing is your doctor does send it in, but it's awful. The narrative is bad. Well, that's going to get denied too. And so you got to make sure that the narrative reports are good. We'll talk about that in a minute. Your doctor is going to potentially diagnose you with exactly how you feel. I have back pain, I have knee pain, I have shoulder pain. And the diagnosis they're going to use is back pain, knee pain, or shoulder pain. That's going to get denied, okay, because you can't use those diagnoses. And most doctors who aren't trained don't know that. So I just gave you a lot of scenarios that are, if the doctor makes a mistake, your claim gets denied. The only reason your claim gets denied and the doctor didn't make a mistake is that you made a mistake. Like, you didn't do your part. You didn't report. Your supervisor wasn't notified or wasn't made to pay attention by the union. I think the unions are powerful, tough tools that you should be using. They're like the hammer for every nail. You got to have them. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a hammer. And I see a lot of nails. But the union stuff are nails I can't hammer. So you need them to do it. Right? So you got to report on time. You got to make sure the supervisor turns it in. And then you got to get your information to your doctor and make sure the doctor reports the correct things on time. And when those things don't happen, that's why a claim gets denied. So there are a lot of statistics out there that say that 1 out of 7 federal employees nationwide has an accepted claim, which means that the vast majority of you aren't even attempting your claims. There are statistics that say letter carriers, 11% of letter carriers have accepted claims because most of you are not attempting to file your claims, which is a real shame because when you don't, you can't work because you're in pain or you're not strong enough anymore because of the injury. You can't finish your shift. So then what happens? Your supervisor wants to fire you and your claim's not accepted and they feel justified in doing so.
Yep.
So, choosing the proper doctor is maybe the most important thing you can do besides report on time. And I'm going to get to that in a minute, but I think that is the number one reason claims are denied is because you just went to the wrong doctor. So who's the wrong doctor? Urgent cares are the wrong doctor. The reason urgent care is the wrong doctor is because usually they're not doctors. They're usually nurse practitioners or PAs, and they don't get a counter signature from the doctor, which is in the rules. We use nurse practitioners and PAs all the time, every single office. Yep. But the medical doctor reviews and countersigns all their reports if the medical doctor doesn't write the report him or herself in the first place. So urgent cares are bad for you. And most of your supervisors tell you to go to the urgent care where there's no medical doctor that's countersigning anything, so denied. And incidentally, the denial letter from claims examiner says it's denied because the narrative was not written by a qualified physician. So, urgent cares are bad. ERs are bad for the same reason, plus they're just super busy and doctors don't have time to write narrative reports that get the job done. So skip the ER unless it's an emergency, like you need stitches or you got a broken bone or some other emergency. Definitely go to the ER, but you got to find a qualified trained OWCP doctor immediately after. Your family practice doctor is generally not trained to do this. Okay, they don't understand what goes in these reports and they're likely to diagnose pain, among other things. So as much as we love our family doctor, they're the wrong doctor for this. VA doctors. A lot of VA employees are here watching this, and your VA doctors, as I always say, are world-class doctors who are completely untrained in OWCP.
Yep.
And so when you go to the VA doctor because somebody in HR or injury comp or a supervisor tells you you have to, well, that's not true. You don't have to. The law actually goes opposite of that. It says you get to choose your own doctor. And then nobody can get in the way of the choice, and you can't be forced to go to the doctor who works for your agency. So all of these things are in the law to protect you. People try to call me while I'm on. We use a phone for the video. So VA doctors, that's dangerous. Surgeons. So we love surgeons. We're actually in the process of recruiting surgeons so that our franchisees can make referrals to surgeons as needed, and those surgeons won't ask you for money. That to me is huge because I don't want you paying money to anybody anytime ever, okay? And incidentally, we don't ever charge money to anybody. Nobody's ever paid $1 to us, and that's how it'll stay. But when you go to a surgeon, surgeons are specializing in surgery, not report writing. They don't write reports. All the surgeons that I've met with, at this point I think like a dozen of them, have said, well, what I really like about this, Chris, is that you're not going to make me write reports. Somebody else is going to do it. I just have to do what I do, which is surgery. So surgeons are the wrong one. You got to choose the right doctor. You can't go to your chiropractor either. We use chiropractors all around the country, but we use them properly, okay? All the chiropractors we use have medical doctors, nurse practitioners, or PAs working in the practice. That's what makes it okay. But if you have a chiropractor who tries to sign a narrative report, it's denied. They can't do that. Their name can't be on the report at all. So going to those doctors is going to cause your case to get denied. So you should be asking yourself, well, gosh, Chris, that sounds like every category doctor. And you're right.
Yeah.
It is. The only category left are trained OWCP doctors, which are like unicorns. They're just almost not found in nature. And I know that because we get like 100 no's for every one yes from doctors that join our franchise. And in spite of that, we're nearly 60 offices strong in 23 states and counting. And it's been hard. It's been tough finding doctors over the last couple of years. It's been an overwhelming task. And so the ones that are on and that jump on and say hello, you should give them a bunch of hearts because they're doing something nobody else wants to do, and they're doing it well with claims acceptance rates that are pushing 100%, as you should expect. So that was a big mouthful to say the number one reason claims get denied is your doctor. It just is, and you could be thinking, well, gosh, Chris, you just want us to go to your doctors.
Not true.
No, they're totally right. I do want you to go to my doctors. I do. Because when you go to my doctors, I don't have to fix your doctor's problems.
True.
I don't have to fix their mistakes. You don't have to send me a denial letter and say, Chris, tell me what's wrong. Look, I can close my eyes and put both hands behind my back, and I know it's going to be wrong. They're going to say the doctor wrote an insufficient report in so many words. Every single time. I know what they're going to say, unless they say the doctor didn't send it in at all. So yeah, I want you to go to my doctors because I want your problem to be solved up front. My friend Ron and I, we talk all the time about appeals. You've got to do the appeal when it's time to do the appeal. But isn't it better just to win up front? I think so. I know you think so. This is common sense. You want to win now or later? Because, as I told some union friends of mine, is that when you're required to do an appeal, how long does that process take?
You don't know.
However long it takes, you're not getting paid. How long can you go without getting paid? Okay?
Yeah.
So we want your claim accepted right away. So you got to choose the right doctor. There are occasionally other doctors that are sort of trained at OWCP, and if you find those, I'm really happy for you. But unfortunately, most states don't have a single doctor, so a lot of you are out of luck for now.
Yeah, this week alone, there's a lot of you that have messaged me saying, I went to whatever doctor. Can you fix this? Here's my denial because you guys will send me your denial. Unfortunately, because it's not one of our doctors, we can't call them. We can't tell them what to write. Now, sometimes he'll review it and kind of tell the doctor what's wrong with it.
Well, me and my entire team will tell doctors all the time what's missing. We don't make medical decisions. I mean, I can't tell a doctor what the diagnosis is or how the diagnosis happened. I don't know about mechanism of injury. It's not my specialty. I'm not qualified. Like I tell my doctors in training, I'm not qualified to tell you where to go to the bathroom. Okay? But I know when you need to go, And so I'm not qualified to tell them how to make medical decisions. But I know when something's missing.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I've only read thousands of these, and my entire team combined has read tens of thousands of these. And so my team and these doctors work together to make sure that your claims get approved the first time. And if they get denied, guess what we do? We do the appeal ourselves. Your union doesn't have to do the appeal. And you know what? It's not that they're not effective at it. I'm sure they're effective at it. If they weren't, they wouldn't still be doing it. But, I want you to win up front. And we have a really good track record of winning now, not later. And if we have to do an appeal, we handle it so someone else doesn't have to, because we control the whole process. Again, you're not here to have me preach and teach about my doctors. But you should understand that these doctors exist. My franchise, the Federal Injury Center's franchise, exists because most states don't have a single doctor. And I can do something about that. I can fix it.
Yeah.
Along the way, over my now 26, almost 27-year healthcare career, I tried to quit this career a dozen times. You wouldn't believe how many job interviews I went and took in the process of keeping a job for 21 years. And, my boss and I didn't get along. I thought he was a nutcase. He probably thought I was a nutcase. He didn't think I was a nutcase. 100% for sure, he thought I was a hard-headed, leave it there. But, and I was.
A hard-headed what?
Not good. Not a good word. Because it's true. Even my partners, my staff will tell you that when Chris gets something in his head, he doesn't get it out of his head. We're gonna make it happen.
Yep.
Okay, if there's a wall, I'm gonna go through it. So, me and the boss butted heads, and I tried to quit a dozen times or more, and never got to. Like, right now, I could own, like, a Subway, or, a Jimmy John's. I love sandwiches, and I make good ones, or, like, a taco shop.
Oh, gosh. It turns everything into a taco that I make.
Did you know you could take french fries and lettuce and make a taco?
No, let's get on.
Okay, anything is mac and cheese. Okay, buffalo wings. Anyways, I could be doing anything else, but we're doing this.
Yeah.
And but I
really enjoy it too.
I tried quitting it 1,000 times along the way, it feels like. Yet here we are. So as long as we're doing it, here's what we're going to do. Let's get your claims accepted. Okay. I am intent on having offices in all 50 states. I'm intent on having an office, and this is my mission statement, within range of every single one of you.
Yep.
Period. All of you. That nobody ever says, I've got to cross state lines to go to a doctor, or I've got to drive 100 miles to find one. No more. So we're working on it. That's why the franchise exists, because you don't have any doctors, and I can fix that. And if you want to know why the books exist, simple. You don't have the information, and I can fix it. So I did. So don't forget to go to breakingowcp.com and get the books.
This is the new one right here. And
yeah.
these are like 16 or by 11 or 11 by 16 canvas prints. So this was book 1, book 2, and book 3. And if you see, it says with Eric Blowers.
So Eric made a special appearance. I asked him, I don't know, nearly a year ago, when I started thinking about writing this book. Okay, truthfully, at the end of each book, once it's printed, I start thinking about writing another one, because I'm like, all right, I think I can say this differently, or I can add this, or whatever. Well, in this one, I said, hey, I'm going to add Eric, because everyone likes him better than me anyways. He's a lawyer, and he can speak expertly on third-party injuries, which you guys have a lot of. So, yeah, Eric's in there. And look who else made a special appearance in the book. So, her...
That's me.
And the dogs are all in there, and Gary the goat. So... yeah, check the books out. But in all seriousness, the franchise offices are there because you don't have doctors otherwise. And the books are there because nobody else is trying to help you with this.
Yeah.
Those that are helping are doing the best they can, I guess. But it's not enough. And how do I know it's not enough? Because a small fraction of you report your injuries and get a claim accepted. So it's not enough. The math, tells a story. And the math is bad. Unless you go to federal injury centers. The math is great.
Yeah.
And one thing that's really good in the math is your bank account doesn't shrink like it would if you're not working and not getting paid. So those are things we can help you with.
Yeah.
Anyways, I kind of digressed a little bit. All of that was to say the number one reason your claims are denied is doctors. Okay. The number 2 reason your claims are denied is you're not really sure what you're doing. It's not your fault. Nobody's training you. It's not like you have a training manual in your new employee orientation that says here's how you file an OWCP work injury. I'm sure that's not in the manual. And so it's tricky. Which is why we teach it. That's why you're here listening to it. That's why I have doctors that if you make it there and you don't remember any of this stuff, every single one of them knows what we're doing too.
Yeah.
And can help you.
All
So
right.
find the right doctor.
All right, so we just went over why your claims get denied. So we're going to do the questions now.
No. I'm going to answer how to solve it, and then let them ask all their questions. We're going to spend the rest of the time on Q&A.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about
how you fix
it. So not last night, I think it was like Monday night, once again, this girl messaged me, and sometimes I just can't sleep, so I'm on my phone, scrolling around on Facebook, and she said she had 24 hours, well less, because in the morning, to submit her reconsideration, which she didn't even know. She said she got the mail, it said she denial, and she threw it away, not realizing in that letter has the sheet that you want to file your appeal. Lucky thing, I had it, and I sent it to her, and she got it in the next day. So, you guys gotta read all your mail, especially the denials. There's a few pieces of paper, and some of the denials that we know, there's questions that you also have to answer. So when you do get a denial, just check off reconsideration, submit it, and then get your doctor to fix it. Or you can change doctors.
So I pretty much have nothing to say here.
So let's go over how we can fix denials.
So I'm going to also talk to you about what you can do if you're in an area where there's no doctors to prevent the denial. Okay, so the number one thing you can do to fix a denial that you can do. Now, excuse me. Okay, I'm going to pause and give you like this one thing. And if you don't take anything else away from this night, take this away. You're in control.
Yes.
You can control the outcome of everything that happens in OWCP. You have the power to win in this system. You'll be thinking, well, my supervisors. Nope, they don't have any power. Believe it or not, their only job is to fill out the forms and get the hell out of the way. I've said this all the time, and I say it just like that. And get the hell out of the way. If I could get a group of supervisors that were not so cowardly and would get in front of me, I'd tell them the same thing. Fill out the forms and get the hell out of the way. You know, every book I write has chapters for supervisors. This last one has 2 chapters. I doubt any of them has ever read it. But, you know, they don't have the power you do. And I want you to start thinking about what you can do to overcome this, what you can do to win, okay? Too many of you come to me in a panic, which is understandable, but you seem helpless. And I want you to be fired up. I want you to just know that there's a wall you can run through also. I'm giving you all the tools. These books give you the tools. These chats give you the tools. My doctors are like the biggest hammer in the entire toolbox. They all write their narratives with hammers. They don't even use pens, okay? That's how you need to be thinking, is like you're the hammer. So the first thing I want you to be thinking is, what do I do to win? Okay, well, what you do to win is report now and stop being scared to do it. Too many of you fear your supervisors. Well, now you get to report your injuries on eComp. Your supervisors are totally out. All they have to do is get the email and fill it out. But they have 10 days. When they don't, you get to file a grievance. That's another hammer, a grievance. If you're in a union that doesn't want to do grievances, do it yourself. Okay? Do it yourself. I was reading that particular union's national contract. And there's some interesting stuff in there. You should know your contracts. I shouldn't know your union contract better than you do.
Yep.
Okay? Right now, I know it better than like a lot of you. Half, maybe more. So know your contract, because an informed population, an informed federal workforce is a powerful federal workforce. Why do you think I write the books and give you this training every single week for an hour to 2 hours? So know your contracts. But set that aside. Stop being scared. There's nothing to be scared of here. Your supervisors can't hurt you. It's illegal for them to fire you. It's a crime for them to threaten you, retaliate against you. When you know the laws that are in that book, you don't worry about retaliation anymore because you got them, okay? Because you can file OSHA claims, EEO claims, labor board charges, and grievances. I mean, you can do all of these things and you can win. So don't be scared. But once you get your injury reported on time using eComp, on time is today, not tomorrow, not next week, because you start losing benefits, okay? Do it now so you get all your benefits. Well then, here's the next thing you can do that you can do to get your claim accepted. Write your own personal statement. Now many of you say, well, what goes in it? Well, I'm glad you asked. If you go to breakingowcp.com, there's a tab that says free forms, and you can download a form for how to write an employee statement. It just walks you through it. It's one that I created. It's not an official form. None of my free forms are official forms, but they're all there because you're having problems that I'm able to solve. And if someone else could have solved them, they would have solved it already, but they didn't. So I did. BreakingOWCP.com. But write your own employee statement, and it needs to be incredibly detailed. People say, well, what detail goes in it? That's when you get my form, because that free form on that website will tell you what goes in it. And then you give that to your doctor, and you say, Doc, you got to write a good report. If you don't write a good report, I'm going to get denied. Now, I work with doctors all the time. I've worked with doctors since I was a boy. I've worked with doctors since I was too young to know anything, like anything. And what I can tell you about doctors is that they need to be pushed sometimes. And they're not gods, so don't revere them to the point where you can't talk back to them. Okay, imagine they're like your parent, you're a teenager. Talk back. Doc, you've got to write a great narrative, and I want to see it before you send it in. And you got to get it in within 10 days because I don't want to lose my COP. So you got to get it in fast. Here's my personal statement. I want to see every word of my statement in your narrative. Every word of my employee statement should be in your narrative because nobody knows better about what happened to me than me. So make sure you incorporate my stuff into your narrative report. And then have them let you review it and at least see that your stuff was in there. You need to review things like, did they use a pain diagnosis? If so, give it back and say, Doc, yeah, I got pain, but that's not the right diagnosis. You're going to get my claim denied. You can't do that. You need to see, is a nurse practitioner or PA signed it? Is there a medical doctor signature? If there's no MD signature, give it back and say, where the hell is your signature? Your signature has to be on here. It's going to get denied. Don't be passive bystanders, okay? Because, or the word innocent bystander. You're not innocent if you cause your thing to get denied. And you caused it to get denied when you don't take charge of your doctor. My doctors may not like it, but they will always take it because it's your life. It's your life. So the number one thing you can do is take charge. Don't be passive, okay? Don't just hope for the best. What you're going to see in my last book is I wrote in big words, hope is not a strategy. If you hope for the best, you're going to get the worst or something less than the best. So don't hope, force it. Okay, there's a nail out there and you're a hammer, right? You've got to go and push and push and push until everybody else says, you're a jerk, you're pushing too hard. But you know what? You don't care because guess what happened? Claim got approved, right? We don't want denied claims.
Yep.
So you can win by forcing it. Too many of you are passive in this system. You cannot be passive. It will roll over you. This system was built to break you. Why do you think I named this Breaking OWCP? It's made to crush you. Okay, I don't know 5 people that have read the entire Department of Labor website like I have. I don't know 5 people that have read the entire CA 810, and I don't know 5 people that have read the contracts for your unions like I have, okay? Like, you need to be so well informed that you cannot be broken, and that's what we're doing here. And then you need to make sure your doctor does what you tell him to do, because the doctor works for you. When that doctor gets paid, he gets paid because you showed up. You're the customer. Do not allow a bad report to go to your claims examiner. If you'll do that, your odds of getting a claim accepted on pass 1 go way, way up. So that's what you do to get a claim accepted, but what do you do when it's denied? Okay, here's what you don't do. Don't panic. Just don't panic. You can be frustrated by it because denials are frustrating. When I read denial letters, I'm frustrated. It's not me, it's you.
And you guys are not getting paid either, so we understand.
It's very frustrating, but don't panic because nobody solved the problem during panic. I promise you, when you panic, you're not thinking clearly. You can't solve a problem during panic. You got to just relax, okay? That's not going to be easy, and it's, easy for me to say. It's not my life that's, getting turned upside down. It's yours. But you got to be able to think clearly. What are you going to do about it now? Okay, well, number 1, read your own denial letter. Most of you never read the letter that they send you in the mail. Many of you throw the letters in the trash because you think it's junk because you didn't want to open it. Don't do that. If it comes from the United States Department of Labor, open the damn mail and read it.
Read it.
Okay,
yeah.
Read it. Somewhere in there it's going to say specifically your claim is denied because. You got to circle that with a Sharpie and take it back to your doctor. And say, Doc, I'm filing reconsideration. Are there other forms of appeal you can file? Of course. But I like reconsideration the best. Some of you like other things. But you're here to hear me teach, and I'm telling you reconsideration is what I like the best. Your doctor can submit new information in the form of a new narrative report and send that through eComp, and your claims examiner is required to consider it during the appeal. That is a reconsideration. So immediately upon denial, go straight to your doctor, take that denial letter. You've already taken the time, and who cares if it takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 30 minutes? This is your life we're talking about. Find the paragraph that says specifically your claim is denied because. Now the good news for you is all of our Federal Injury Centers offices are trained to do this. Our reception staff is trained to find that paragraph, circle it with a highlighter, and hand it to the doctor. We're all trained to fix your denials, whether they come in that way or whether they happened after we helped you. One way or the other, we're all trained to fix these things. But not all doctors are. For example, I don't have offices in Montana and North Dakota and South Dakota and Iowa and Idaho. Okay, we don't have anything in the middle of the country for the most part. What will you do if you're one of them? If you live in these areas, what are you going to do? You've got to read your denial letter, take it back to your doctor, and be in charge. Be in charge. Make them write a better report. Make them fix the problem. Okay, whatever it is going to be spelled out to you. It's a gift. Your claims examiners give you a gift. It's got a bow on it that says denial. Well, that doesn't sound like a gift. The gift is that they tell you why so you can fix it. So that's how you overcome denials. You don't panic. You don't say, oh God, the world is coming to an end. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my house. I'm never going to have anything ever again. Go to your doctor and fix it. Okay, if you're in an area where you can go to a Federal Injury Center, get there. Get there because we're all trained to fix it. That's what we do for a living. But if you're not, you've got to take charge of this thing. Unfortunately, about 10% or less of you has an accepted claim. 90% of you have to do something different. Number one, report your injury. Report. Number two, find the right doctor. Take your time doing that. Number three, take charge of the situation yourself. Write your own personal statement. Number four, read your denial letters and tell your doctor how to fix it. And five, don't let anything go out the door that you don't first review. Okay? Anybody's not sure of it, send it to me. I'll review doctor's narratives all the time. I do it all the time. Many of you are on here and I've read your denial letters, I've read your doctor's narratives, and I've suggested changes. Okay? Many of you are here. That's what we all do. You don't have to be within range of a Federal Injury Center's office for us to help you. We have a staff of people who will read your stuff and tell you what to do if you're not sure. Whether you're one of the patients at our offices or not. Whether we have an office in your state or not. If you're in Iowa, where we don't have an office yet, and you have a denied claim, we'll help you. But my point is, find help. Call a lifeline. Do what it takes. We're here too, right? We are here to help. But what you don't do is roll over and take it. Never roll over and take it. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. I'll talk to you about how to find a doctor, because believe it or not, I'm not just going to tell you to go to federalinjurycenters.com and check locations. I'm not here to sell my doctors. I'm here to get your claims accepted. I'm going to tell you how to find doctors that aren't in my network. I know that's shocking. If you want to know how, hang around. I'll tell you later. Right now we're going to get to some questions.
All right, let's get to the one on YouTube. It's from Ian White. Hi, first time here. I was told
Welcome, Ian.
I was told to come and ask about my case. I got denied. I requested a review of written record, but never got a letter, and now just received a bill for $3,000 from the post office. I'm wondering, after the request for review, what is the next step? What the next step should be? Got denied, and I genuinely think I shouldn't have.
Okay, so what Ian said is he got a denial. He did a review of the written record, which is one of those 4 appeals. It's one I don't like.
We don't ever tell you.
And it's your first time here. It's not your fault. Had you been here before, you'd know I prefer you to do reconsiderations. But a review of the written record is one you can do. They will also consider new information, but too many of you don't take new information, right? You're just like, I hope they see it differently when they review how they denied me the first time, the second time, right? And so we don't want to do that, so that's why I encourage against it. But Ian, if they denied it, you've got a letter in your eComp case file. And you can go to eComp and you can find your letter from the claims examiner. The letter will either say denied or approved, and if it's denied, it'll say why. The good news for you, Ian, is it's not too late, because you can do an infinite number of appeals. Your next appeal will be a reconsideration, though. On your appeal request form, you'll select reconsideration, not review the written record. And then you'll find a doctor who will write a better report, and you'll send that better report into your claims examiner and get your claim accepted. But in the event that it gets denied again, no problem. do another reconsideration, take it back to your doctor, find that paragraph that says specifically it's denied because, show it to your doctor and say, you got to do better than this. You got to do better. They denied it. Here's the reason why. You can fix this. And if your doctor says, I'm done writing reports, then you know what, Ian, hit the road and find somebody who will write the right report, because you're in charge of your life and you're definitely in charge of your OWCP case, and your doctor can't stop you. If your doctor puts a red light up, you run the damn red light.
Yeah.
You just run it. That's it. We're not even stopping at a yellow light. We're not pausing. We're moving full speed ahead. So it's not too late, but check your case file on eComp and see if you've got a denial or an acceptance letter. If not, it just takes time. You can always call your claims examiner and say, is there anything else you need? And then the claims examiner will say, no, I'm just backed up or whatever. But check your case file and check your mail, because they will send you a letter in the mail explaining what happened.
Yeah.
Great question. And thanks for being here, Ian. I hope you'll come back.
Try not to choose ECAB or oral hearing
Or review of the written record.
Review of the written records. Those, and Chris has said it in many union meetings and conventions. He's never had a person that he's had to, that they did ECAB and.
So, okay, let me explain this
Bleh.
better. We never suggest ECAB ever.
No.
Eric Blowers, our lawyer friend, rarely suggests it. And he's the one that's there if you have to go to it, because it's like a hearing.
Yeah.
He says there's just almost no reason to do it most of the time. There are, and I mean this very respectfully, there are union people that may be watching tonight, because occasionally they watch. They watch to poke holes in my story. And some of them will tell you that that's misinformation. You have to do reconsideration. No, it's not. Look, you can pick anyone you want, but you're here to know what I want or what I think, right? Mm-hmm. I'm here to teach you something. What I think is reconsideration is the best thing for you, because it gives your doctor plenty of time to write a good report, because you have 12 months to appeal on a reconsideration, and it allows you to enter new information. So I like the 12-month window. I like the new information part, because it gives you time to tell the doc, hey, that ain't good enough. You can say, I want to review what you're going to send in before you send it in, and you're not going to miss your window of time because you have 12 months. So you can do an infinite number of reconsiderations also.
Yeah. Okay. Petro Hubble, you asked if we were going to be in Clearwater. We don't have a Clearwater office.
But we're close to it.
We have Palm Harbor on Tampa Road, and we have Pinellas Park and St. Pete, and then Land O'Lakes. But we are not going to any of our offices tomorrow. What Chris was saying earlier is we're going to Orlando for a doctors convention to go recruit more doctors.
But I am happy when I'm back in town to meet anybody in Palm Harbor, to meet anybody in Pinellas Park or in Land O'Lakes. The Tampa Bay region is, to your benefit, dominated by federal interest centers. We've got a doctor that's got multiple locations, and they get claims accepted. Mm-hmm. And we live in the Tampa Bay area, so I expect the Tampa Bay area to be fully covered. And my doctors are freaking good at this. So if you do want to meet up with me, I'm sure that we can work that out.
Yeah. Tammy Hoskins says, I broke my leg all out of time. I told my postmaster I would like my 240 hours, 30 days, and she denied me and says I can't do that.
That was choppy, and I didn't understand what you read. Sorry, no offense. I listen to reading like a technical writer, and if it's not totally technical, because sometimes we're using our phones, I get confused. I broke my leg. I'm all out of time. I told my postmaster I would like my 240 hours, 30 days, and she denied me. Can she do that? Okay, so there's probably a lot of missing information there, and I'm going to, regardless, direct you to your union. And this is where I'm going to tell you all, I respect and love the unions because they have a great place for you in a lot of areas, including OWCP. This is one of them. You need your union to go step up for you. If you're not getting paid properly, that's one of their core jobs, is to make sure you're getting paid right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to go to your union and tell your story. They will definitely know what to do. I mean, for sure. And if not, come back here and we'll find somebody in your union that will help you.
Tammy, what big books you have? Yeah,
Thanks,
they're
Tammy.
Canvas prints, so I made them really big.
Tammy, what a big, beautiful orange truck you have.
Fred Linker said thank you for all of this.
You're welcome, Fred. Thank you for being here.
Victor, if I told you it was 9:30 to 12, then it's 9:30 to 12. I have so many dates, guys, that...
What's 9:30 to 12?
When you're going to speak in Jacksonville.
9:30 to 12, folks, in Jacksonville.
I don't know. I'll repost all the info that we're going to be there after the live.
If they let me go before lunch, then they'll be fired up at lunch. If they make me go after lunch, nobody gets to go in a coma.
Yeah.
Because I'm bringing you out of the coma quick.
Joshua said, when I'm going to a workman comp PT appointment, should I be on the clock?
No. So you can't be. You're about to say yes. When you leave, you have to clock out. That's just like...
Oh,
right.
yeah, that you do, yeah.
So you clock out, and then you fill out a CA7 and a 7A for LWOP, leave without pay. Okay, and you account for, with your 7A, you account for time on the clock and time off the clock for each day. That's how
But
that
you
works.
have 4 hours to
Up
go...
to.
Yeah, up to 4 hours to go to your doctor's appointments.
That's right. Now, I recommend giving your supervisors ample notice.
Yeah.
We tell our offices to give everyone a full printout of all their scheduled appointments and just take it right to your supervisor and say, I'm going to need these times off.
Yeah.
If your supervisor balks at it and says, no, we're not going to let you do it, they're violating law, and you go straight to your union and file a grievance.
Yep. Sheila Griffin said, thank you both so much for what you do.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Sheila.
Miss Rosa said, waiting for your office in Utah. It is coming.
Oh,
They're in
we're
the
so
process
close.
of training.
Okay, so I'm not directly involved in the initial training. Let me explain how this works. I wrote all the training materials myself, and my staff uses my training materials and trains the offices. When the offices are trained fully, then I see on our website, on the locations map, that they're located there. So once they're on the map, you know they're like fully ready to go. And in fact, today I checked to see if Dr. Wood was on the map yet, and he's not. But he will be. These things take time. The thing with us is that we're fanatical about training, and we're fanatical about training because we want you to have a good outcome when you go to one of our offices. And so we don't, excuse my language, half-ass it ever. If it takes extra time, it takes extra time. When you get there, you're going to a place that knows their stuff.
Yep. Dale Watts says, why is it when you file the appeal, it takes 3 to 4 months for the answer on the appeal?
Well, I think that my answer is that there's 2.8 million federal employees, and a micro fraction of those employees are claims examiners. So there's a lot of you and very few of them. That's what I think.
Maria Portal said she received your books.
Awesome. Hey, those got through fast.
Lainey Ray said, so my claim has been accepted. Everything is approved. They asked for the doctor's signature, with which I've submitted. How long now do they have now that they've received everything?
There's no rules that tell them in what period of time they have to make decisions. And I know that's because of what I just said. There's a small fraction of them compared to you. And so they're not putting them under the gun, so to speak. They get to it as fast as they can. Now, they will tell you that they have 90 days to make a decision. And I will tell you that nobody's read more of the rules and laws than I have, and I've never seen that anywhere. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Maybe it's like hidden, like when you're buying a car and they tell you that, you know the blue book value, you show them, and they're like, no, there's a black book. And you say, I've never seen a black book, show me, and they don't have one either. That's what I'm talking about.
Dale Watts, Augusta, Georgia needs an injury center.
Okay, yeah, we were just talking. I was just talking to Dr. Cooper about Augusta, Georgia, 2 days ago. Dr. Cooper in Forest Park, right by the airport in Atlanta, is strongly considering a move and opening a third location in Augusta.
So just say, Dr. Cooper, get one in Augusta.
Yeah, normally Dr. Cooper's on.
He's probably on.
So I imagine he's on or he'll be on. But if you want somebody in Augusta, hit a bunch of love signs, and it'll be like the smoke signal coming out, or the bat signal.
Emma says, can't wait to get my book. Josh said, is there a doctor in New Hampshire? No, there's not in New Hampshire. The closest one would be Quincy or Norwood, Massachusetts.
Which is a Boston suburb.
Andrew said, Redondo Beach, California. If you guys are looking to go to Dr. Hawkins, you go give them a call at 310-540-8333.
And Angie is the case manager for Dr. Hawkins, and I'm glad she's on, and thanks for being on, Angie. Because each of our offices has a case manager, and that case manager's job is to keep you organized and keep the doctor organized and make sure that your stuff is being communicated properly to the doctor, so the doctor writes fantastic narratives. So all of our offices have this extra staff person, and Angie, I apologize for calling you an extra person, because I don't mean it that way. Let me explain it. We tell all of our offices, all of our franchise doctors, that the most important person they can bring on besides their medical doctor is a case manager. So all of our offices have a person whose whole job is to work with you and make sure that things go smoothly for you. So Angie, thanks for being here, and thanks for shouting out Dr. Hawkins in Redondo Beach, California.
Diane Green said, Buffalo wings are the best in Buffalo, New York. We need you here in Western New York. We are working on that.
And when I get there, I expect to have all the flavors of buffalo wings, including buffalo.
Liz here from Gulf Coast and Land O'Lakes, and
What's
Dr.
up,
Suba
Liz?
and I are happy to help with any additional questions or concerns. This is the Land O'Lakes office.
Land O'Lakes, Florida, which is north of the Tampa Bay area, like 20-25 minutes north of the airport. And it's a newer office. They're associated with Dr. Lee and Dr. K. That's the Tampa Bay. They dominate the Tampa Bay region, as they should. So if you're in Spring Hill,
Brooksville,
Pasco County, right?
Pasco,
That's where you
Crystal
go.
River, yeah.
But anybody, by the way, because somebody now is going to say, well, what about my area? What about my area? Like the New Hampshire one. So check back often at federalinjurycenters.com and check the locations tab, because we're constantly adding new doctors as they get trained.
So if you want a doctor in Land O'Lakes, you can give them a call at 813-528-8000.
Thank you for listening. And hey, guys, thanks for being here. Again, our doctors jump on here because they like to hear what you're thinking. They also get an extra little training session with me because they're listening too. And they get a chance to communicate with you and let you know where they're located, and we like them doing that. So if somebody jumps on and that is an office location that makes sense for you, call them directly.
Yeah. You want to find us on YouTube, just go to YouTube, type in Wednesday Night OWCP Chats with Chris, the and sign, Gini, G-I-N-I, and it'll pop right up.
Now, I know that's a handful of stuff to type, but it's worth it because it gets you here.
Danielle, hello.
What's up? Danielle is a powerful... I used to think of her as an up-and-coming union rep
Yeah, I know.
in Alabama, but she's not up-and-coming anymore. She's here.
She's badass.
So if you're an AFGE member with a VA in Alabama, especially Montgomery, and you're having trouble, Danielle's the way to go. And thank you for being here, Danielle. We love you.
Jenny, all of our locations, we do have Maryland locations. If anybody wants any of our locations, already here, found you. Okay. If anybody wants to look at any of our locations, please go to federalinjurycenters.com and click locations. And we have a few more that are coming. They're in the process of training, maybe like 6, 7 of them. They will be listed as soon as they're done training. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
Aria said, what form is filled out for travel expenses to physical therapy?
It's called an OWCP 957. Everybody just go to Wednesday. Don't go there. Go to Federal. I have like 3, 4 websites.
There's websites everywhere.
I know. Go to federalinjurycenters.com and check the OWCP forms tab, because every form is there. Every form is there. Your OWCP 915s are there, or 957s are there, and that's how you do travel reimbursement.
Lori Walter said, I reported an injury. Once the OIC told me that I couldn't report any other injuries or I would lose my job. This person now is at home.
Yeah, you need to
wrong.
file a grievance and call OSHA and tell OSHA that they may be, no, do it differently. Ask them, are they violating my 6th employee right as found on the OSHA website, which says the right to report a work injury? Are they violating that right by telling me if I report a work injury, I'm going to lose my job? I bet you they say yes, because OSHA also says it's a crime to do that to you. So 1-800-321-OSHA. Do not let them do that to you. And union reps, that's your job, okay? Stewards, it is your job to prevent your members from getting threatened, retaliated against, and fired.
Yep.
That's what you're here for. So we have a lot of stewards on, and the ones that are here are powerful. Like they know the deal, and they wouldn't let this happen. But those of you that haven't, heard me yet, which are not probably hearing me now as I think about it, you that don't hear me need to help with this.
Victor said, Chris, please don't call them supervisors.
Sorry, Victor. Stupid advisors.
There we go. That's
My
what I
bad.
said.
My bad.
Jody Goodwin said, does the 3rd book come in paperback?
It is. It is currently in paperback. It may stay in paperback for a while. I really do want everybody to be able to download it to your phone. It's so important that you put it on your phone. And I can't stress enough how critically important it is to have this information at a moment's notice, because we always have our phones in our pockets or in our purse, or I don't have a purse, but in your purse. My pocket, your purse.
Oh.
But you need to have it available, because as soon as something happens, you need to go, boom, what does it say? And go right to the chapter. And really all you have to do is study the chapters, study the table of contents so you know where stuff is at. And the longest table of contents I have is 2 pages, so anybody can remember that.
Sharon Lorraine said, people can't help people if people refuse to try to help themselves. She's absolutely right. We say this all the time.
So I agree with that. You do have to help yourself, which is why I'm so serious, and I have such a strong, approach to telling you to handle your business, to be a hammer, right? Everything's a nail when it's OWCP. You're the hammer, though.
Yeah, Emma says that's right. Knowledge is powerful. That's what I always say.
So I say that too, but in my last book, I clarified knowledge is power, but what you do with it is even more powerful.
Yeah.
And here you have the knowledge. What are you going to do with it?
Kickley King, travel reimbursement is OWCP 957. You can get that from the DOL website, or if you go to our website, federalinjurycenters.com, and click forms, you can get those from there too. We have tons of forms on there.
The reason we have them on our site is because for the longest time, I would personally go to the OWCP forms site and on DOL's website, and the forms wouldn't load. I couldn't open them up. And if my computer won't open a PDF form, there's a problem. So what I did is said, forget it. I put them all on my website so that you could access them, and nobody ever has a problem opening our forms.
Yep. Tammy Newman said, I don't care, push, 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 and don't give up. We are going on almost 7 years with our son. Chris and Gini are not giving up on him. Nope, we are not.
I never will. And you know what? That will be the last thing I do. If I quit Federal Injury Centers and I stop writing books and I shut down Wednesday night OWCP chats, I'm still going to be working with Scott.
Yep.
I'll never quit.
Gilbert says, when you get scheduled awards, do you have to pay back if it's a third-party injury?
Nope. No, hey, that's a great question. When you get a third-party injury, you get a minimum 20% of the settlement, plus you get your schedule award if you qualify. No paybacks. Great question. The schedule award is yours by law.
Ari, this is on YouTube, how will you charge bill injured employee for services?
Oh, no, let me answer that.
Okay.
$0 and 0 cents every time. So we don't charge anybody ever.
No.
Everybody on here knows this. You're new, I think. Okay, good. You found us. We've never charged anybody ever for anything, no matter what. Not a penny, not a dollar. Our franchisee doctors would get kicked out of the franchise if they ever ask you for money. They're not allowed to. So what happens is we bill Department of Labor, just like if you have a Blue Cross insurance plan and you go to the doctor and the doctor bills Blue Cross and they get paid or not. Well, when you go to our doctors, the doctor bills Department of Labor and they get paid or not. But here's the good thing, is that when we get your cases accepted, you get all your benefits and the doctors get paid for their services. So that's how they get paid. But I want to tell you that I don't want you to be worried about how doctors get paid, because doctors are doing fine.
None of our offices will ever send a bill.
Okay, yeah, but listen, doctors are doing fine. Don't worry about how doctors get paid. Worry about how you get paid. That's all that matters. But our doctors will never charge you a penny. And as you can see, you're here. This information is free, and that's how we keep it. But it's a great question. I'm happy you asked. But nobody ever gets charged anything for our services ever.
Gilbert said, second question, having an approved injury from years ago, if I'm having problems now, do I start a new claim or stick with the old claim number? Also, where can I get an MMI in the Chicago area?
Okay, so first of all, what he's asking is, I've got this injury, it's back, what do I do? Well, maybe it's a recurrence, maybe it's not. You got to go to your doctor and say, hey, is this new or not? If it's new, you file a new CA1 or a new CA2, depending on how it happened. If it's a recurrence of an old injury that was accepted, you file a CA2A, notice of recurrence. How do you get a schedule award in the Chicago area? Well, our doctors are training. If you want to be patient and wait, you can wait on our doctors, or you can just Google schedule award doctor and see what comes up. Some of our doctors have finally gotten trained, like Dr. Cooper in Atlanta, Dr. Freed in St. Petersburg. There's some other ones. Dr. Rue in Gilbert, Arizona is trained.
I think there's like 5 or 6.
And many of my doctors are also in the process of training, because it's a very specialized thing on top of having to learn OWCP. So we're working on it. But you can always Google schedule award doctor. I suggest Googling OWCP schedule award doctor and see what comes up.
With the 6th edition.
But in Chicago, we've got a couple of offices. One in downtown Chicago, one in Libertyville, and when they are trained and ready for the 6th edition impairment ratings, we'll let you know. But you don't have any cutoff. As long as you're alive, you can get a schedule award. So it's not like an emergency, except that you probably need the money, and I understand that.
Kevin McMullen said, I know this isn't today's topic. I was out collecting OWCP pay from DOL after a surgery. then came back to work after 8 weeks and was on intermittent 20 hours working 20 hours DOL pay. After I returned to work on intermittent, I had a raise in pay after my second pay period. The post office started paying me at a higher rate, but DOL was still paying me at my old rate of pay. This lasted for 4 pay periods until I went back to full duty. How can DOL pay me at a different rate than the post office since I was back to work?
So your OWCP pay is going to be locked in at your pre-injury pay rate. That's the short answer.
Valerie said, hi, where can I go to get a schedule award done? Live in Niagara Falls, New York.
Well, right now there's almost nobody near you. Our Manhattan doctor is training, and it is a process that they have to go through.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to just check back. But like I said, you can also Google OWCP Schedule Award Doctor and see what comes up.
Yeah, and also Valerie, if you go on our federalinjurycenters.com website, there is a tab you can click Schedule Award Doctors. Even though we don't have one in New York yet, but those are what we have so far.
So hang on with the questions for a minute, because that's a good sort of bridge to my last topic on how to find a doctor. So you all heard me say a couple of times how to find somebody that's not a Federal Injury Centers doctor, right? You can schedule OWCP Schedule Award Doctor in your city and state even, okay? That's a tough one because 6th edition impairment rating doctors are rare. They're few. They're like the ultimate unicorn. Never found in nature, hardly ever. But to this point, I told you, why claims are denied, how to overcome them, and how to prevent them. And I told you that most of the reasons claims get denied are doctors writing bad reports or no reports at all. So I need to tell you how to find a doctor. Obviously, clearly, you can go to Federal Injury Centers, right? www.federalinjurycenters.com, and there's a locations tab. It goes alphabetically by state, and then you can just check the cities and call the office directly if you find one that makes sense for you. Excuse me, my wife cooks really good and I had dinner, so I keep having to excuse myself. She's a really good cook. All right, really good. So you can go to federalinjurycenters.com and you can find a doctor. I mean, obviously you can do that, and I clearly want you to do that for a lot of reasons, but the number one reason is I want your claim accepted. I want you to stop suffering with denied claims. I like OWCP to stop breaking you. I'd like you to start breaking OWCP. But let's say that you're skeptical. I don't know about this. This Chris guy is kind of a clown. I'm not sure I want to go to his doctors or whatever, right? I mean, almost nobody even sees me because you're in the screen. But
he is a clown.
She's mostly a clown. But let's say that whatever reason you're skeptical. Somebody the other day said, "Yeah, but they're for profit." Yeah, we are. I mean. Okay, yes, our company is for profit. It's funny. Every year, and we're in the process of it now, you have to go through this audit. It's a federal law, so you go through financial audits and stuff. And so we're going through our annual audit. It's nothing, whatever. We do it every year. But in the annual audit, they want to see that you made some money, because if not, they may shut down your franchise. It's a funny thing that they care about it.
Yep.
And who else cares about money is OWCP, because if your claim doesn't hit $1,500, they'll automatically close your claim. So there's a lot of people that care about money. Well, listen, yes, ours is for profit. I have staff that has to get paid, okay? I have websites that go down, they have to get fixed, and we have lawyers and all kinds of stuff, That's it. Yes, we're for profit, but it's funny because we had somebody say, well, they're for profit, be careful with them. Well, you know who the person that said that also got a paycheck. That person gets paid too to do their job. But anyways, if you're one of them, and you're skeptical, I'm not sure what's going on here. One of them asked me to swipe my credit card into my phone or whatever. Then let me tell you what you can do to find a doctor. Just go to Google and search this: OWCP injury doctor in your city and state. So let's say you're in, McKinney, Texas. You search OWCP injury doctor, McKinney, Texas. If you're in Atlanta, OWCP injury doctor, Atlanta, Georgia. Or whatever, okay, New York, whatever. We don't have an office in Clearwater, I'm not even going to say that. I got a gnat flying around me. Orlando, Tampa, Pinellas Park.
Just put your city and your state
I'm just saying, Iowa, which is not a city. Des Moines, Iowa, okay? But you put OWCP injury doctor in your city and state, and you see what comes up. And if you don't find anybody locally in your area, well, that's a clue that there's nobody that does what you need, and that's a problem. But I just told you what to do if that's the case. You write your own employee statement, and you make sure your doctor incorporates that statement into their narrative, and make sure the narrative gets out within 10 days so you don't lose COP, right? And that goes through e-comp. If your doctor doesn't know how to e-comp your report yourself. Get the report from your doctor and you e-comp it. You can do it. You're supposed to set up an account in e-comp anyways. But I want you all to know how to find a doctor. Because I told you, don't go to your family doctor, to the urgent care, to the ER, to the VA, to the surgeon, to the local chiropractor. Don't go to any of those doctors. If there's a trained OWCP doctor in your area, go there. If you have to go to one of those doctors, take your own statement and make sure that they do what you tell them to do, because you're in charge of your life.
Yeah.
So if you don't want a Federal Injury Center's doctor, or you can't find one, then you search OWCP injury doctor in your city and state. And if nothing comes up, except Federal Injury Centers, because we're everywhere on the internet, then you take your employee statement to your doctor and make sure they do a good job.
Yeah.
But and it's going to be an uphill battle for some of you. Some of you that are in the middle of the country, we don't have offices there yet. But like I said, we're about to go to Orlando to talk to a group of doctors that are coming from different parts of the country.
Yeah.
Chances are we're going to find a couple of more doctors. Like we just found someone in Mississippi. They're coming online soon. We've got somebody in Houston. Somebody asked about Houston. Coming online soon. I'm getting told not to say stuff.
Yeah, we have a lot of questions.
Okay.
Lori Walters, how long do you have to submit additional info when DOL denies payment after a claim is accepted?
So when they deny things, if you file reconsideration, you have 12 months to file the reconsideration. 12 months. That's the only one that gives you that kind of a window of time. That's why I like it so much.
Rita Marie said, I'm a USPS rural carrier that needs knee surgery. Second opinion advised against it. I've gotten my MMI. I won't be able to go back to being a carrier. I don't want to resign. What is my next step?
Well, you can try to transfer crafts. I've known people that have transferred to clerk, where they can do more things. So that's a possibility. Maybe you find another job in another federal agency. I mean, look, I know that's tough. But that would be, my number one thing would be transfer to another craft inside your agency. Maybe you can get a permanent limited duty assignment. They are allowed to do that for you if they want to, and your union can help you with that.
Yeah. Maria Portal said, if you call out due to symptoms related to on-the-job injury, do you have to use AL or sick leave, or can we use LWOP?
Well, I want to use LWOP, but your claim has to be accepted to be able to use LWOP. So once your claim is accepted, use LWOP. Fill out a CA7 and a 7A if required, and turn that stuff in every 2 weeks with the proper documentation.
Ms. Rosa said, are oral hearings ever recommended?
Okay, that's a loaded question. Who said that?
H.M. Rosa.
Okay. Some people will say yes. I say no. Okay, it's just a difference in opinion. I like reconsiderations because it gives you 12 months to gather new information and file your appeal. Oral hearings are a way to go. You can get new information, but you don't get 12 months. I think you get like 30 days, and some doctors can't get stuff done in 30 days, and that's a problem for you. And otherwise, you're going to do an oral hearing based on the same information they already used to deny you, and I don't like that either. I want your odds of approval to go up with each appeal, not to be equal or less.
Okay. Aria Ransom said, at what point do you need to begin submitting CA7s for pay?
As soon as your claim's accepted. The day your claim's accepted, start turning them in, which means you need to start filling them out the day you start taking time off until your claim gets accepted. That way they're all filled out. Now all you got to do is turn them in. But if you wait to start filling them out after your claim gets accepted, it can feel like an overwhelming task. And many people just throw their hands up and say, forget it, I'm not going to do it.
Annette Johnson, I don't know if you're a doctor, but you said, how can I get an office started in LA, California? So we have 2 locations in California. We have Redondo Beach and Thousand Oaks.
Which are both in Los Angeles County.
Yeah, so please message me if this is something you're interested in. Melissa Reyes said, you guys are awesome, period.
Thank you, Melissa, period. Thank you.
Judy said, when you schedule a doctor's appointment and get 4 hours off, they will reschedule you so you can't take the 4 hours.
Well, that's an agency issue that I can't help with, but that's, thank God for unions. You can get help there.
Joe Alexander said, my appeal was denied because they are claiming I had a pre-existing condition. It was discovered after I endured my spinal injury that I have spinal stenosis. I had no clue. Never had any spinal problems prior to my injury. Do I have a leg to stand on with this at this point to get my claim approved?
Man, you're like a spider. You got 8 legs to stand on. Pre-existing conditions are covered in OWCP. If your job accelerates, exacerbates, and in any way worsens a condition that was pre-existing, it's covered. Your problem was the first thing I talked about. Your doctor didn't know what to do and could not write a narrative explaining that pre-existing conditions are covered. So you are covered. You can get this claim accepted, and you should fight for it.
Yeah. And if you need more information on that, give us message us or give us a call.
Yep. We want to help you. I definitely want to help you.
Shovonda Renee said, my claim was accepted. I've been out of work since April 28th. I submitted my first CA7 on May 6th. About how long will it be before I start getting income? Also, do they take health insurance out?
Okay. Your benefits have to come out. Okay. I was just reading about this. I don't want to get it wrong, but I want to say to you that your benefits are going to be taken out of it. If not, this is what I want you to do. Check this out. If your benefits are not taken out of it, don't think that that means your benefits are free. You got to find out how to continue them. Some people, depending on their situation, have to pay for their benefits secondarily. So make sure that happens. But there was a first part of that question.
My claim was accepted. I've been out of work since April 28th. Submitted my first CA7 on 5/6. How long will it be before I start getting income?
How long will it be before you start getting paid on your CA7? So if you did not attach your documentation, it's going to be a very long time. You're going to get a denial letter. If you attach all the proper documentation, then you should be paid every 2 weeks. I saw a letter from a claims examiner to a patient who said to submit their CA7s every 2 weeks.
Omar Fernandez said, I live in New Hampshire and I go to the Norwood, Massachusetts office. They are awesome. Well worth the 2.5-hour trip.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm really glad things are working out for you, Omar. I really am, sincerely.
Adrian Martinez, we will be having a Houston office. They're in the process of getting paperwork and contracts squared away, so we will let you know when that happens.
Yeah, we finally located a doctor who's willing, and we're going to be moving forward there.
We do not have any doctors in upstate New York. We only have Manhattan. We are working on that.
We're working hard on it.
We do not have a Connecticut location. The Connecticut folks normally drive down to Massachusetts, but Joe is working on a Connecticut location, and you never know who we might meet this weekend.
Is it down to Massachusetts or up to it?
Down.
I don't have
Or across.
I don't have the map memorized up there.
Jeannie and Chris, we can talk at the Florida APW seminar in Jacksonville for better places to open in Central Florida. Thank you, Victor.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Sandy Nani said, I was told that the union can't help with OWCP. Is
Okay,
this true?
hold on. It depends on what union you're with. You may want to tell me. I probably already know, but I don't want to say it out loud because then they think I'm bashing them when I'm not. I'm definitely not. I mean, I want them to help you, and I think their stewards should be trained to help you, and I've done everything I can to train the stewards to help you. But look, you're here, and you're here to get the training yourself, and I hope to make you so powerful that you're the biggest hammer in the toolbox.
Yeah, and Tish said no. Tish, she's a
Tish?
local president. Not only is she a local, she is the Florida State VA president, so she oversees all of our VAs.
Okay, so look, if Tish says no, I'm like, oh crap, it's no. But who's she saying no to?
About the union, that they said that they don't help. She's saying no, that's the wrong answer. They're supposed to help.
Yeah, they're supposed to, but not all unions do. So I have a pretty good feeling I know which union is yours, sadly. But
maybe.
Learn this stuff yourself, okay?
Renee Marie, somewhat off topic, but how do you determine what counts as other forms of income when you're filing for your pay? If you had a second job already, how do they count that against you? Does a monthly payment from an annuity have to be counted? What if you have to switch state insurance or other assistance because of lack of pay?
All right, so I'm not sure about annuities and other assistance. I just don't know, but I'll find out. We'll find out.
Message us again on the messenger so then Chris can get all of those. Oh wait, it's Renee. You know what to do.
Yeah, just let us know,
yeah.
and I'll do the best I can to get you good information.
Sharon Lorraine, I love this lady. OSHA 301 is a form that can be completed by the injured worker and submitted directly to OSHA.
Yep.
There you go.
Boom. And I like that. It's in the spirit of handle it. You be the biggest hammer in the toolbox.
Yes, you were right about that. Okay, you were right. What do you need?
I'm pretty good at
Melissa
writing.
Reyes.
Yes. At writing. I'm pretty good at writing. And at being right.
Yes, we do have one in Manhattan, nothing in upstate yet. Sharon Lorraine, Google works better than DOL page forms if you don't get them from Chris.
That's right.
Ari Ransom, do some of your doctors have more specialized training in the MMI rating than the other locations?
Oh, sure. I mean, look, if you go to if you go to federalinjurycenters.com, right in the middle of the homepage, you'll see scheduled award doctors. And the doctors listed there are the ones that have all the training in it. The rest of them are working on it, and it's just a long process. But many of them are in that process right now.
Diana, okay, so if you want a doctor in New York, what you need, or if you want any of our doctors and you want to see a list of all of our doctors, please go to federalinjurycenters.com, click locations, and everybody's phone number and addresses are on there. We will have more locations.
But again, I can't stress enough that you're not here so I can sell doctors to you. You do what you want. The law says you can choose any doctor you want. We love and respect that. So we want you to choose whoever. But if you're like a lot of people that I've been training lately, we're in Virginia Beach, we're in Utah, we left there and they said, why would we go anyplace else? After you hear what I'm telling you,
how we teach it, yeah.
I mean, the obvious answer is, why would I mean, it's like craps, right? Craps. No, not craps, roulette.
I love roulette. Is
She
that
loves
the one
roulette.
I play?
When you pick a number, right,
Yeah.
or a color. I mean, look, you can pick a number. 1 out of 36 or 38 numbers is going to hit. You can go to Federal Injury Centers and like 36 out of 36 are going to hit. So, they get it. And by the way, we're going to have to wrap this up soon. It's been 1 hour and 20. And my mouth is getting dry. But let me say this. We want to help you. So I've been doing some surveys on Wednesday Night Chats, and I appreciate all of you, and a lot of you have participated in the survey. But I asked this one question, and the question was, would you like Chris and Gini, or would you like Chris to come teach at unions? Would you like Chris and Gini or Wednesday Night Chats to be able to post useful information on your union pages? And would you believe that like 95+% of people want us to post on their pages and want us to teach at their events? Let me ask you something. If you're here and you'd like us to post on your pages, and look, we don't spam. We say, hey, there's going to be a Wednesday Night Chats. I am not speeding up. This is important.
I know.
She always wants me to hurry up because people have
tons
questions.
of questions.
We're not going to get to them all live. We'll answer them later. But we get told all the time we can't post on your pages. But posting on your pages is the best way to get the information to you, okay? So, but like 95+% of people want us to. And which is curious because there's a small number of people that don't. I'm guessing they're not watching right now or ever. And want us to come teach at your union events, which I desperately want to do. I love doing it. I love interacting with you face-to-face in person. And the large percentage, 90+% of people want that. But then there's just like the micro fraction of people that don't. I don't think I could ever please them. But if you want us posting on your pages and teaching at your events, you gotta just speak up. Like I tell you to do with the doctors, take charge. You got to do this with your unions because I don't think they know what you think. Let them know what you think.
All right, we got a YouTube question. Cases accepted for sprained ankle and sprained hip. X-rays done on hips and arthritis was found. Do I need a new claim for arthritis? Been a letter carrier for 9 years. Currently a patient at the Royceford, Pennsylvania facility.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe arthritis is part of the accepted condition and you need a diagnosis expansion. Or maybe it's a new condition and you need to fill out a new CA2 form. Go talk with your doctor, find out what the case is for you, and then we'll handle it accordingly. If the doctor's not sure, which I doubt that'll be the case, but they'll ask us and we'll help them, we'll walk them through it. But what we always want you to do is file the correct form at the correct time for the correct reason. And so there's a way to make this happen, but what your story that you just told is one that we're used to seeing and we can help you with it.
Mickey, Gulf Coast Rehab in Pinellas Park gives me hope. Thank you to all the doctors and staff. They are awesome.
That's the doctors that dominate the Tampa Bay area. So thanks for that. I'm glad that's working out.
Omar, when and why would you want to schedule award? So we always say schedule award equals money. Just before Chris goes into it, we know somebody well, somebody that Eric is helping, he's at $850,000 and he's not done yet. And we know a lady got $30,000 because her thumb isn't working. So schedule award is good.
Now I know a lot of people whose schedule award was $3,000 or less. Okay.
Right.
So those are probably outliers. But the point is, the question is, when do I do it? So you do it when you're at maximum medical improvement, which is a medical decision by your doctor. So you got to talk to your doctor. And then, why would you do it? Because it's money. How many of your rights and benefits do you want to leave on the table? This is one of your rights and benefits.
Deanna Hammer said, what do your doctors require if you're going to be a new patient?
They want you to bring in your forms like your CA1 or CA2. If you have a CA16, bring it in. If you have a CA17, we'll tell you to bring it in. We want you to bring in letters from Department of Labor so we can read them and figure out if something was denied, how to fix it. And then we've got some other things we ask you to bring based on whatever intake. Remember I told you, every one of our offices has a case manager whose job it is to keep you organized. And so when you call, they're going to, over the phone, they're going to tell you everything you need.
Yeah.
So that you're able to show up prepared and, ready to win.
Sharon Lorraine, I so remember this conversation a year ago. She said, I was skeptical only because of the drive. Best drive I made a year ago.
I appreciate that. I'm sorry you had to make the drive, but we are working to add offices around the country.
What is the reason OWCP CA 1032 is sent for claimant to fill out? Is this just part for the course or something to be concerned about?
No, when they send you something, the worst thing you can do is not fill it out and send it back. So just do it. Always tell the truth, no matter what. Just fill the thing out and send it back. I would not assume that means that they're going to do something bad to you. Just, handle the business and get it done.
Gilbert said, you guys are amazing. I've learned so much. If you're ever in Indiana or Chicago, please let me know. Great job.
Well, we will be. We've got an office in South Bend, go Irish, and we've got 2 Chicago area offices. So we'll definitely be there and we'll let you know. We'll let everybody know.
Gilbert says, how do you transfer to another craft? The problem is unions don't get along. Is there anything I could do?
You're right about unions don't get along. You should. You all should get along. At some point, it could be you, But I understand, you're all fighting for each other or for yourselves. And the unions are fighting for their members who pay the dues, so that makes sense too. But you're going to have to talk with your union and hope they'll talk with the other one and maybe get a manager in the mix, which I can't believe I just said that out of my mouth.
Judy says, what if you can't return to work? Do you still get a schedule award?
Yeah, so inability or ability to return to work has no bearing on your schedule award. It's based on the 6th edition to permanent impairment, which is a medical doctor's guide. And, they're going to determine your percentage impairment, which will determine your dollar amount for your schedule award, but it won't determine your ability to work.
Omer says, what if we want to help start a federal injury centers around McAllen, Harlingen, Brownsville, Texas area? How do you do that?
Well, okay, so the only way we can do it is if we know doctors that are willing. And I don't know if you heard me earlier, and I've said it a lot of times, for every one that says yes and joins, there's 100 that say no. They just don't understand, or they're not willing to learn what it takes to help you. And it takes a lot. You wouldn't believe, all the training that I do for you, you wouldn't believe the training that I do for the doctors, because they all have to learn this stuff too, plus their stuff. All of our offices, the receptionist to the medical doctor, everyone in between, has to learn everything that I'm teaching you and everything I teach them. Yeah. So it's a lot of work, and a lot of them don't want to do it. So the ones that have, and the ones that get on here and say hello to you, just understand they're going through a significant amount of pain to learn how to solve your pain.
Yeah, Corey Sai said, first timer,
hey, Corey.
Newly injured. I went to the ER. Doctor refused to do paperwork, CA16, CA17. Discharge paperwork said I need to follow up in 2 to 3 days. Can I come to the clinic?
Yeah, but not 2 to 3 days. That's tomorrow. That's when you follow up. But the doctor that didn't want to fill out a CA16 was an idiot, and many of them are. The CA16, when they fill out that one piece of paper they have to fill out, that gets them paid. That doctor's not going to get paid because he was too big of a whatever to fill out one piece of paper.
Yeah.
That one piece of paper would have gotten him paid and prevent you from having to pay.
Dr. Suma is on, guys.
What's up, Suma?
Sharon Lorraine. Oh, she's talking to somebody else. Is it advisable to seek an MMI rating right after completing your total physical therapy sessions?
So I don't advise anybody to seek an MMI rating at any time because that's a medical decision. What I'm telling you is to communicate with your doctor and find out when you're at MMI. MMI means maximum medical improvement. So you got to find out when medically the doctor thinks you are as good as you're ever going to get. So there's no time frame for that, and I can't tell you a time, and nobody can. Only your doctor can.
Lori Walter said, if you have already submitted info from your doctor concerning a specific claim, can you still go to OWCP doctor for a second opinion?
Absolutely yes. Short answer, that's the answer, yes.
Tanya said, I want to see you in our monthly pamphlets.
Hey, I would love to write stuff in your monthly whatevers. If anybody wants, whatever it is, if anybody wants me to write it, I write stuff for a living. I'd be more than happy to put some really great stuff in your monthly pamphlets.
Tanya said, I'm going to raise some hell on June 12th at the state meeting after donuts, of course.
Oh, that Tanya. Damn right she is.
Omar said, last question. When you are determined to be at max capacity, can you still go to federal injury centers to get physical therapy?
Yeah, because being at max capacity or MMI or whatever else does not cut your benefits off. You have a right to lifetime medical benefits. And so if the doctor believes you can still get benefit, even pain relief, then they can pre-authorize treatment to help you, deal with this thing on an ongoing basis.
Dot Hurd said, question, I got hurt back in December. I recently came back part-time delivering half my route. I was experiencing pain and called my doctor, who then scheduled an appointment, and my office said I had to use sick leave to go see them because I called them myself. Is that right?
No, that's not right at all. Like, you should be able to fill out a form CA7 for LWOP. If they make you use a CA or make you use sick leave, then you can do leave buyback later, but that's not free to you, so I don't like it. If they're saying that, well, this is a recurrence, they don't have any way of knowing that because your supervisors are not doctors with medical licenses. So if your doctor says this is not a recurrence, then it's not one, period, end of story. So check with your doctor on what's up, but you should be able to fill out a CA7 for LWOP.
Renee Marie said, do you find that injured federal employees have higher anxiety due to difficulty of the process compared to other jobs, or does it just seem that way because the people who speak up usually have dealt with the most troubles?
No, like I've been doing this for my entire adult life, all of it, and I can tell you that federal employees with work injuries are anxious, okay, to say the least, and understandably because this is a very complicated system. It's something that feels threatening, and the supervisors are actually threatening, and the laws are confusing, and so I think it's very common for people to feel anxious, and I would not, if I were you, feel like you were alone. You're not alone. You're not the only one. I mean, look, we have a bunch of people here that are going through the same stuff.
Dee Sobibek said, hi guys, I sent an email this week, but we had bad storms and my computer's been down. I'm in Minnesota, broke my back, shoulder, and wrist in an accident. Should have had surgery on my back the day of the accident. It's been 1.5 years. My surgeon said my back is healed, but in the wrong position. And he now thinks surgery is too risky and that I need to learn to live with the pain. Please help me. What can I do? I work for the post office.
Okay, so right now, I gotta tell you, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know what you do medically to fix that, except for maybe get a second and a third opinion. I don't know. If it turns out you can't do this job anymore because of whatever, then you have options like federal disability, which I don't like, but it's an option to you. You could change crafts. I don't want you to have to do that, but it's an option to you. But you're gonna have to get guidance from your doctors, and just because you went to one doctor doesn't mean that there's not others that have other opinions.
Yeah. Sharon said, we Fed employees get HE double hockey sticks from stupid visors.
Oh yeah, they give you hell all the time, and worse. I mean, you're just being nice, but bye phone.
Okay, so we covered all the questions, and if we didn't, go ahead and message us on Messenger.
And we'll handle it.
Yeah, we'll get to you. So we have a pretty busy next 2 weeks. Tomorrow we leave for Orlando to go recruit some more doctors, so cross your fingers. You'll see me posting some pictures of everything that's going on. Chris and Joe will be talking to the doctors about what it is that we do and see who wants to come on board and help you guys.
We actually get to present tomorrow or Friday to all the doctors in the entire room. So I get an opportunity to actually. So normally when you go to these things, you wait for them to come to your table and ask you, why should I do this and what is this?
Yeah.
I have the PowerPoint going, and Joe and I talk to them. We try to help them understand why they should do it. But this time, we actually have an opportunity to present in front of them the way I present to you.
Yeah.
And I expect to convert a lot of doctors to be in your doctors.
Yeah. So today we went over what happens when your claim gets denied, how to fix it, and how to find our offices, or how to find a doctor in general where there's no federal injury centers. But if you are looking for any federal injury centers clinic, please go to www.federalinjurycenters.com, click locations. There's also a tab for forms. There's also a tab for schedule awards. There's also a bunch of other tabs that Chris puts up about the doctors, some real fun stuff on there as well. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. I do have an Instagram page, Wednesday Night OWCP Chats, and I have a TikTok page, Wednesday Night OWCP Chats, and I'm trying to learn this TikTok crap.
If you want to be amused. Okay. So.
And so if you want any of the books, please go to breakingowcp.com. This is book 3 right here. This is the latest and greatest book, and it also has a chapter with attorney Eric Blowers. This is book 1.
It's got all the rules, laws, and regulations. Many of them are repeated in volume 3 because they're too important to leave out.
And then this is book 2 right there, and then book 3.
And if you really want your supervisors to be better supervisors, there are 4 total chapters between these 3 books just for supervisors. They'll never read it. I'm not sure if any of them can read, truthfully. But if they can, I recommend that they read these, and they'll be better managers for you. So, if you're not going to read more questions, I wanted to tell something.
Yeah, that's it. So don't forget to share, like, and follow. And don't forget, if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Click the bell for notifications so you know when we go live.
Now, this is how I want to end, and I should say this more often. I'm really grateful for all of you. We get so much nice feedback. Many of you, you go through the time to answer my surveys on Facebook. Thank you for that. You've gotten my books. I couldn't be more grateful for that. It's humbling that you would ask me for an autograph, so I do it. And so thank you for that. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate how you all have helped grow this community.
Yes.
Over the last year, we've grown thousands of new followers, and that's thanks to you sharing, so please do that. And if you're a regular here, you know that what I'm about to say is sincere, and if you're new here, I want you to just hear it, that you probably feel like you're on an island all by yourself. And when you get hurt, and when your coworkers get hurt, you probably feel like there's nobody there that cares, and nobody will help you. And that must be a very lonely place, and that's why I wrote these books. That's why we do this every week, most weeks of the year. And it's why we go through the painstaking effort of adding doctors to our network to help you so you don't feel alone, and with case managers and with nurses and whatever, okay? So those of you that have been here, you know this already, and those of you that are new, you may need a minute to digest it, but you should know that you're not alone, that there's a huge group of people here that are your friends. You can come here and get your questions answered, and not always just by me. Like, somebody's going to jump on and answer you as well, and so you're loved, and you should feel that way. And I want you to know that very sincerely. I love you. We love you. I'm an emotional guy. I wouldn't do this if I didn't genuinely care about you. So this is where you come when you need help. This is where you come when you feel like you're alone. You come here because you're not alone. I've been saying this over and over.
Yep.
You're not alone, okay? You don't have to suffer this tragedy of OWCP. It doesn't have to break you emotionally, physically, financially. It doesn't have to do that. You are not by yourself, okay? We're here with you. I am here with you. I have a team of people behind me that are behind you. So just know that. Please tell your friends that this is where you come. There is not any other place like it on the planet. This is where you go. We're going to keep doing this until the claims acceptance rate is closer to 100 and less like 10% like it is now. So we love you. that may be a surprise to hear somebody on a Facebook channel saying we love you. But we
really
do. Genuinely. Ask around. You're going to know somebody that knows that's true.
I mean, we hear the stories from you guys. We get phone calls and messages, and when I read them to Chris, either it makes us super angry to hear what's going on because of the way you've been treated, or it makes us super sad because of what you're dealing with.
But the opposite is true too. When your claims get accepted, I feel pride.
Yeah.
I feel so much joy, and like I'm ecstatic to hear. Somebody earlier said my claim's accepted. I'm like, oh, thank God your claim's accepted. And now I think of all the different problems that can come next that we can solve. But I just want to leave it at that. Look, we love you.
Yes.
And this is where you come when you feel like there's no place else. There's this.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for being here. I hope you will please tell your friends, your coworkers, and your coworkers who are friends. And I hope you'll get the books. You don't have to ask me to sign it. I promise to sign it. If you receive a copy that's not signed, I didn't send it, and I send them all. So thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
I hope you learned a lot. Come back next week. Come back every week.
Yeah, next Wednesday we will be doing Q&A. Get your questions ready because that's when the machine gun questions come out. Tell your friends that have questions to hop on. And
somebody is struggling right now with some topic that I can solve in that much time. So bring that.
Yeah, and for the APW for Florida, we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Well,
and
I actually want to. I'm going to end with this. I'll stop talking. My dad will say, I'm going to shut up. Okay, seriously. I would like to commend APW for what they're doing.
Yes.
APW is doing what the other unions aren't doing yet. And that is saying, hey, we're going to get out here and we're bringing Chris in to teach. And I say yes every time. Somebody just asked me to teach. You don't have to say which union it is, but it doesn't matter. To teach something the day after Thanksgiving. I said yes because you need it. Okay, because they are going to be in a group and need to hear it. So I'm going to be there the day after Thanksgiving. When you're all getting, round 2 or 3 of your food, I'm going to teach.
Flying.
We are going to say yes every single time there's not a conflict with our schedule. So I want to say thank you to APWU because they have said, hey, we don't care. We're getting this help. And, congratulations to you if you're a clerk for the post office because your union's got your back in a way that I haven't seen in 25 years.
Yeah.
So thank you. And the rest of you with the other unions, we love you. Just because I'm congratulating APW doesn't mean I don't love the rest of you. We really do. All you got to do is just give us a call. You call and ask, and we're going to say yes. We will move everything we can to get there and help.
Yeah.
Because we love you. So I'm going to end it with that.
Yeah, and so we look forward to seeing you guys in Jacksonville. And then don't forget, your national convention for APW is coming up, and I know there's a bunch of you working on it for us to come train at your national convention. So we look forward to getting the invite. We want to thank APW, all the places we've been this year. We want to thank AFGE
and
for all the invites.
If you're a clerk and you're not a member of your union, you're probably missing out. So you need to join your APW, but once you do, you need to participate. Get involved. Know who your reps are. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's power. It's power. So, anyways.
One last thing.
Yeah. Maybe a few last things.
If you are a part of APW in New Mexico, Wyoming, Utah, Arizona, and Nevada, those 5 states, their 5-state convention is coming up, and we are going to be at that.
Who else is invited?
And we were told that we could invite all the other crafts
at the post office.
At the post office. So if you're in any of those 5 states, I did post it already. I will, once we're off, I'll go ahead and repost it, and we look forward to seeing you guys. So with that said, we'll see you guys next week on Facebook and on YouTube. We will be doing Q&A. So get your questions ready, everybody.
I'll get my answers ready.
Have a great night.
All right, good night.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.